We are headed back to Italy, Carmela.
Thank God.
Yeah, really. This time we are actually going to Italy.
We are.
Yeah.
Woo.
And it's been a long time since we've been there. And to get us ready, we're going to learn about an Italian wine that has had a very long association with gluttony.
Ooh.
More to come.
Okay.
Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Woohoo.
If you are new to our podcast, here's what you can expect. If you love wine, and you want to find great wines at affordable prices, and you want to expand your wine horizons, and you want to have some fun and maybe even laugh a little bit while doing it, then you're in the right place.
Yes, I'm so glad I came.
I know, thank you. Yeah, I'm really glad you came. Each week we explore a different wine varietal, style, brand, or region of the winemaking world, and we learn about what makes them worth knowing about. And then we taste 2 to 3 of those wines that are reasonably priced to let you know if they're worth your hard-earned money.
And then sometimes we go and visit those places where the wine is made.
Woohoo! So if that feels like something you want to dig into, then we are super happy you are here. Mm-hmm. And we're proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
chatty,
and entertaining. Well, Carmela, this is our last episode before we head out on our trip to Italy.
Yay!
So what else would we do but take on a wine from Italy and do an Italian wine adventure?
Perfect.
Now, the wine we are going to be learning about today is called Ribolla Gialla.
Ah, okay.
And it's not a wine from any of the areas of Italy that we're going to on this trip.
Okay, that's okay.
In fact, it might be about as far away from those places in Italy as you can get.
Really? How come you chose this wine tonight?
Well, I just felt like we should do an Italian wine. It's supposed to be a great wine, and it may be one that we still see on our travels.
Okay.
And if nothing else, it'll just get us psyched up.
And for what?
For trip.
Maybe for when we go to the
For
north?
trip. I stopped using articles. For trip.
That's because you're learning Italian that way.
It's just anything Italy right now is fun. Come on.
Of course.
Now, in case you're curious about where we are going on our trip, here's the scoop. We are going to see my side of the family, specifically my dad's mom's side in Naples, where my cousin Alfonso lives, and then a tiny little town called Serrapadace in Calabria, and then another city called Catanzaro, where Alfonso's mom, Rosetta, lives.
Nice.
Now, a fun fact, Carmela, for our friends at home.
Okay.
If you know about Washington wines, then you probably know about Leonetti Cellars.
That is the truth.
Yeah, now they make some of the most expensive and hardest to find wines in the U.S., and it turns out that my grandmother's maiden name on my dad's side was Leonetti.
Right.
And Leonetti Cellars has a vineyard called Serrapadace.
Cool.
And it's named after the place where the parents of Gary Figgins, who's the current person who runs Leonetti Cellars, came from, and they were called Francesco and Rosa Leonetti. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, Carmela, we are related. We are distant cousins. And again, I will just say, the vineyard is called Serrapadace. The town of Serrapadace that I've never been to, but we're going to, is a teeny tiny little town of about 1,000 people. Mm-hmm. And yes, I still have cousins who live there, and we're going to visit, and I'm really excited, but kind of cool that somehow over thousands and thousands of miles and over 100 years, there are still those kinds of connections.
Amazing. But
So
do we know the people, the Leonettis that are here?
No, they won't talk to us. No, they will. They will. I've had a few, like a little bit of back and forth with Gary Figgins, but I think they probably get this like we're cousins a lot.
Right. They're like, oh, another one of them. Really? We're cousins, huh?
Yes, exactly. But now, Carmela, I talked about my side of the family. So let's do a little tiny bit about your side of the family, where we're going, and if there's any connection to wine.
You know what? We are going to be, after heading out of Calabria, we're heading to Puglia.
Puglia.
My family is all from Puglia on my mom's side. My dad's side's from Naples, but we don't have any relatives that are there any longer. But we will go to Puglia and we'll spend time in Bari and Carbonara and Valenzano, which are 2 neighboring little towns.
Teeny towns.
Yes. And I have a ton of cousins and relatives that I have not seen for let's see.
More than 30 years.
I was gonna say I'm giving my age away. But yes, it's been over 30 years since I've seen a lot of these relatives. So it's going to be a real treat. And connection to wine, basically.
Perfect, yeah. What is it?
Is that we drink a lot of wine with them.
What else do you want? What else do you want? And they will talk to us.
Yes, they will talk to us. They'll drink with us. and we'll give them some stickers.
That's a great idea. I didn't even think about that. We will give them stickers. So we are psyched. Woohoo! Can't wait for it. And before we jump into Ribolla Gialla, I did want to mention a few wines that we may run into on our trip that are actually from the areas we're visiting.
Nice.
So in Naples, which is in the province of Campania, we should run into the red wine Aglianico, which was actually the subject of our very first Italian wine adventure episode, as well as the white wines Falanghina and Greco di Tufo. Now, we haven't done an episode on Falanghina, but we need to. But we did recently do one on Greco di Tufo, and we really liked it. In Catanzaro, which is in Calabria, we should run into the red wine Galioppo, which is the core of the Calabrian wine Ciro, which we did an episode about, as well as the white wine Greco Bianco, which you would find in Ciro white wine.
Nice.
So there you go.
Okay.
And then in Bari, which is in Puglia, and actually we are staying in the town of Polignano a Mare. I can almost say it right.
Polignano a Mare.
Thank you. We should run into the red wine Primitiva, which is the same wine as Zinfandel, which we've not done an episode on yet, but we should, as well as Fiano di Puglia and Bombino Bianco.
Nice.
I mentioned that one just because it's fun to say, Bombino Bianco. Now, we did do an episode on Fiano in the past, but that was Fiano from Campania. So we may run into it in both places.
Okay.
So super fun.
Wow.
And I think we're going to share photos of our trip in Instagram and Blue Sky, and we'll likely put some in our newsletter, which, by the way, will be late next month because I ain't doing the newsletter while we're on our trip to Italy.
No. Priorities when you're on vacation.
Have priorities.
Yes.
But hopefully we'll also have some awesome wine stories to share, as well as awesome family stories.
Love it.
But we have digressed a ton, Carmela, a ton. And we need to get back to Ribolla Gialla, which is the wine we are supposed to be talking about today. Now, Ribolla Gialla is typically a still, dry white wine, still mean non-sparkling, but is increasingly being used in sparkling wines as well as orange wines. We're not doing an orange wine today, but we will bring them back in the future because, Carmela, listeners have asked.
Oh, my. Okay.
But as a reminder, an orange wine is a white wine made from white wine grapes that has been in contact with the skins, sometimes for a few hours and sometimes for much longer. And you can think of orange wines, a good way to think of it is they're like cousins, like we're going to visit our cousins. They're like cousins of rosé. And remember, in a rosé wine, the juice has been in contact with the skins of red wine grapes for a short period of time. So another reminder, even red wines get their color from the skins. Yes, there are a few rare grapes called tintorier grapes where the juice is actually purple. But most grapes, even red wine grapes, the juice is clear. So the color comes from the skin. So that's another total digression.
No, helpful. Always helpful. Now, back on task.
Okay, thank you. So let's learn more about Ribolla Gialla and what makes it worth knowing about. And we have 2 Ribolla Gialla wines that we're going to taste and review today to let you know if they're worth seeking out. But first,
you got to do our shameless plug.
That's right. So thank you for listening to us and supporting our show. And if you haven't had the chance to do so yet, now would be an eccellente time, or perfetto time to follow or subscribe to our podcast.
As much as we know there.
That's it. Those are the only 2 words I know. And leave us a nice rating and review to help us grow our listeners. And thank you to everybody who has done that already. You can also follow us on Instagram at The Wine Pair Podcast and on Blue Sky. You can contact us on our website, The Wine Pair Podcast, and you can sign up for our email newsletter there. And you can also visit our shop wine and shop accessories sections where you can find great wines that we think are worthy of you buying and accessories that might make great gifts for Father's Day, although you probably won't hear this on Father's Day or after. It's this Sunday.
Oh, right.
You knew that.
I knew that. Of course I knew that.
You knew that. And we want to make content that you care about and you like, so send us a note or DM us and give us some feedback or let us know if there's wines you want us to try or winemaking areas of the world that you're curious about, and we'll take care of it. So you can always email me at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. And we do have a few shout-outs this week, Carmela.
Okay.
Timmy's Vino.
Timmy.
He's off the shit list.
Oh,
we brought him back.
He never was on the S.
No, he wasn't. But he felt bad about it. He sent us the note.
He doesn't have to do that every week.
No, he doesn't. We put a lot of pressure on Timmy.
Right. We're just teasing Timmy.
But, Timmy, we just teasing.
Yeah.
But Timmy did give us a horrifying yet intriguing description of an experience that he had with Retsina. And remember, Retsina is the wine that we talked about last week in our Certico, where they actually put some rosin or resin into the wine. And And it made me kind of like frightened and also kind of like I want to try it.
Oh.
And I also missed a shout out to Shaker last week. And he reached out to us after we sent out our newsletters to say that he really liked the Chateauneuf de Pape episode. And that's probably his favorite French wine. And that he agreed with us that James Suckling sucks.
Okay. Nice job.
Way to go, Shaker. And just a little reminder that, again, we'll be serving up some mini-sodes and an interview for the next several weeks because we're going to be traveling to Italy and then heading to Portland to see our son in The Winter's Tale. Is it the?
It is the.
Okay, thank you.
Nice work.
And he's playing the lead character, Leontes.
Right. King.
The
Leontes.
king, and he's the king of Sicilia,
That's
of
right.
Sicily. So Italy. I mean, come on. It's all coming together.
Oh my gosh. All these connections.
It's amazing.
Now we know the king.
And then if you're in the Oregon area, the Portland area, check out Oregon Adventure Theater's production. That's just a little PSA.
Woo.
And as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair podcast to, because the best way for us to grow listeners is when you tell your family and friends about us. And this week, we want you to recommend us to anyone who, like us, is heading to Italy and wants to know more about Italian wines, because they may enjoy this episode and our other Italian wine adventures.
True.
Get them ready. Get them psyched. Get them prepped.
Right. I mean, that's what you do, right? Sometimes, the journey is the prize.
I think so.
That anticipation.
I just also want to let you know that Carmela quit. Ooh, hold on.
What's wrong?
Something's going on here. But with my ears falling off. But Carmela quizzed me on Italian verbs.
Right.
And I think I did okay.
Yeah, I
got
think you
about
were like 10 out of 15.
Oh, that's not bad? I still
No,
think that's not bad.
I do not think that's bad at all.
Ah, you laughed at me. Okay, Carmela.
You can quiz me later.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Let's find out just what the Ribolla Gialla wine is, shall we?
We shall.
Okay, so first of all, the wine is best known from the Friuli-Venezia Giulia area of northeast Italy. And this is that area of Italy that people forget actually sneaks a bit around the Adriatic Sea along the coast bordering Slovenia. It actually goes on the other side of the Adriatic. And Ribolla Gialla is also found in Slovenia, where it is known as Rebula.
Oh,
So same wine.
okay.
There you go. Now, there are 4 main DOCs, or legally designated areas where it's grown. There's the Collio DOC, the Colli Orientali de Friuli DOC, DOC Insonzo, and DOCG Rosasso. So for those of you keeping score at home,
I hope you're taking notes.
take some notes. No, you can go to our episode and see our show notes. Did you know we have shoe notes? Shoe notes?
Do you have shoe notes?
I do have shoe notes too.
Okay, I'm part of the accessories
Part of
section.
the wear your shoes at home club. Anyway, these are in, that was really weird. These are all in the very eastern part of the province, very close to Slovenia.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the eastern part of the website.
No, of Slovenia. I'm back to the DOCs. And if you're an Italian soccer fan or football, they are near the city of Udine, where the Udinese Calcio is from. Calcio means soccer, if you didn't know
You should see him. He's just full Italian
like
man
a
mode right now.
nerd with the chef's kiss kind of thing.
Just the whole thing. He's just getting ready, just firing himself
I'm so
up.
fired up. Okay, so like a lot of wine and grapes from this part of the world, Carmela, these are ancient grapes, as you might expect. The origins, you always ask about the origins, but the origins aren't exactly clear, but they are likely several thousands of years old. The grape is considered indigenous to the Friuli-Collio as well as Gorska Brda region of Slovenia. And there are references to the wine dating back to the Middle Ages, and the first written records of the grape come from 1289. And powerful Venetian kings were said to be fans of the wine. Now, Carmela, on an interesting side note, the Italian poet Giovanni Boccaccio, who's most famous for the Decameron, which is a 14th century collection of stories of 10 people who flee Florence to escape the Black Death. That's not super fun.
God. That's, getting dark quickly here.
But it's very famous literary work. And just to get a little bit more dark, this is Giovanni Boccaccio, actually listed indulgence of Ribolla wines as one of the sins of gluttony. And as you know, gluttony, I mentioned this in the beginning, right? This connection to gluttony. Gluttony is one of the 7 deadly sins.
Right.
So there you go.
Oh, boy.
But that's why I love learning about wine. I mean, not because it connects to the 7 deadly sins or gluttony, but it connects to history and culture and geography and cuisine. So
love it.
there you go.
Nice
kind
job.
of fun. Thank you.
Fun facts here.
Fun facts.
You're full of fun facts.
Full of a lot of stuff. Okay, originally,
Full of it.
Ribolla wines were mainly sweet, which is interesting because now it's mostly known as a dry white wine. And actually, Carmela, I just learned this today. A TIL, a today I learned.
Is that a real thing?
TIL?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you see TIL? It's not till. It means today I learned.
Oh, I don't know.
You gotta pay more attention.
Where would I see that?
On Instagram.
Oh.
And when you see a TIL,
Maybe
now you know what it
I
means.
knew.
I was reading about this today. Wines today are much less sweet than they were in the past.
Okay.
Because, in large part,
This particular wine.
no, all wines were sweeter in the past. Because it's only recently that there are yeast strains that can handle more alcohol. Oh. So in the past, the yeast couldn't stand up. So not as much sugar would be exchanged into alcohol. So there you go.
Oh my goodness.
So you
did not know that.
Yeah. So there you go. Now, during the phylloxera epidemic of the 19th century, there's a lot more facts, not fun facts, but a fact. Ribolla was hit very hard. Carmela's about to faint, and many vineyard owners decided to plant other grapes instead. And so this is another common tale that we hear about a lot of indigenous grapes, but Ribolla was nearly extinct by the 1970s.
Oh my, what brought it back?
Well, I'm going to talk about that in a second, but this is how far down it went. As recently as the 1990s, less than 1% of the wines in the Friuli area under DOC designations even contained Ribolla. But the good news for us is it's made a comeback. And as you asked, a lot of the comeback was due to, and this is a common tale as well, local winemakers becoming interested in reviving indigenous grapes. And around that 1990 period, Ribolla started making a slow recovery, and it accelerated in the early 2000s as even more wineries started to rediscover the wine and plant a higher volume of the grapes. And so today, about 11% of vineyards in the Collio region are Ribolla Gialla.
Wow.
So it's a great comeback.
That is amazing.
Yeah, it's
actually.
awesome. And then there are some other factors that led to this revival of Ribolla Gialla as well. Carmela, are you curious?
I'm so curious, Joe. Give it to me.
Oh, so wrong. Okay, first in the late 1970s, some winemakers started to make sparkling wines from Ribolla, which is this grape is supposed to be really good for sparkling wines.
Okay.
And we like sparkling wines.
We do.
Oh. Second, winemakers in the area started bringing back traditional methods of winemaking, including what we talked about, extended skin contact, orange wine, which again is becoming more popular, as well as indigenous yeasts. So you read about this a lot or hear about this a lot, that in places where they've been making wines for a long time, they like to use these indigenous yeasts.
So it changed probably the taste of this wine.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, there probably is a little, maybe sometimes these are a little funkier. They're a little like, more rustic, maybe, than a really refined, which is also part of the fun of trying some of these wines, because you're not getting these mass-produced, perfectly like tailored wines.
Right.
They're
kind of feel a little more homemade.
and artistic or artisanal.
Yes, I love it.
I love it too. And then the last is sommeliers started getting really interested in this wine because
It's fun to say.
it's unique, it's relatively inexpensive, and it's supposed to be a very good wine with food. So, you know what? Sommeliers like to help their customers out. Am I right?
Truly. I mean, the last time I was a sommelier, that's what I would do.
Well, that's what I do. And so this is a fun wine to introduce to people, especially if all they drink is Chardonnay.
Wow.
Am I
that's
right?
aggressive.
Am I right?
Well, we're going to see if it, you think it's going to be like Chardonnay at all?
Well, interesting note is that some have compared this wine to Sauvignon Blanc. So we'll see what we think it's
like a Sauv Blanc.
But again, Ribolla Gialla, it's been helped by local winemakers refusing to let the wine die, and then brave winemakers who've been willing to not just stay on that safe path and try something new or actually
So
maybe
brave.
something old. I think it is kind of brave. Because
Right. Courage.
you're being sarcastic, but really the easy thing to do is like, oh, we're just going to make a Pinot Grigio or we're just going to make a Chardonnay. But it's like, hey, we're going to bring back what has been part of our culture and our history.
I love it.
I do too. So this feels like then a great time to learn about the wines that we are drinking for this episode. What do you say?
I'm down. I'm ready.
Now, as usual, both of the wines we have chosen for this episode are under $25 each, and at least one of them should be relatively easy to find because I bought it at wine.com, and the other I bought at a local wine shop that we like here in Seattle called Esquin or Mad Wine. And as we usually say, you can find these wines or similar wines at your local wine shop, especially if they have a good Italian wine section. And if they don't, just ask the proprietor, and they will be happy to find it for you.
Right.
So the first wine we're going to drink today is the 2023 Mario Schiopetto Ribolla Gialla. Now, the Schiopetto is spelled Schiopetto. Remember, CH?
Yeah, I was wondering.
Hard sound.
Nice job.
Thank you. So this one is designated as an IGT wine, not a DOC wine. And you may see this on some bottles of Italian wine. IGT is similar to DOC and DOCG, but it's a little less restrictive. So what it stands for is, I'm just using my pronunciation skills right now, Indicazione Geografica Tipica. And you can translate that to mean basically that it's a wine made in a specific geographical region, but the winemakers have more flexibility in how they make the wine than those who have a DOC or a DOCG designation. And we've mentioned this in the past, but some of the great Italian wines, the Super Tuscans, are IGTs. So it doesn't have anything to do with quality. It just has to do with how strict they are.
Got it.
There was some decent information about how this wine is made. The vines are trained in the Guyot bilateral system. It's probably Guillot. That's probably the way you actually say it. Or the double Guillot, which we've talked about in the past. It means the vines are spread out from the trunk left or right, like you put your arms out, you know, left or right.
They train them. That's right.
They're trained. They're
Give
like,
them treats.
That's right. Do this.
Got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then bad dog and that kind of stuff too. Yeah. And the grapes were hand harvested in September. That's what they said. Fermented and stored for 8 months in stainless steel with at least 2 months in the bottle.
So every September.
Right. This year was September. Other years it could be different.
I get it.
That's this vintage.
Wow.
Yeah, my love.
So specific.
For a little more information on the winery, Mario Schiopetto is located in the hills of Capriva del Friuli. And
you're sounding really nice.
Thank you. I always sound nice. And they have been making wine there since 1965. But today, Mario's children, Maria Angela, Carlo, and Giorgio, run the winery. And they have won many awards and are a well-regarded winery. And we also won't hold it against them that James Suckling gave them a 92 rating for this vintage.
Right. I mean, James.
But it's not their fault. That's James' fault.
But again, mix it up a little bit. Keep us guessing.
Well, he did give it a 92, which is unusual.
Well,
yeah, whatever. Okay, the second wine we're going to review is the 2021 Cantina Puiatti Ribolla Gialla. Puiatti is Puiatti. And this one received a 90 rating from Wine Enthusiast and a 92 from Falstaff, which is a wine reviewing magazine from Austria. And it's also the name of a famous character in Shakespeare plays who like to drink. So back to Shakespeare, too.
Funny.
So the Cantina Puiatti is also an IGT wine, and it's also made from 100% Ribolla Gialla. The vines are also trained in the double Guillot system, and the wine is aged in stainless steel tanks for 4 months. But I did find it difficult to find exact information about this particular vintage. But a little bit about the Puiatti winery. It's been making wine since 1967. They don't oak their wine. They don't let the grapes over-ripen. They do not inoculate with non-native yeasts. Inoculate is when you put yeast into it. And they don't let the wines oxidize. So we should expect this to be a really crisp, clean, white wine.
I think we're going to like it.
Yeah, and no oak, so it's going to be nice and fruity. But there's not a ton else to tell you about this wine or the other wine, so I think we get to drinking.
I think I'm ready.
All right, and if you have a wine, a Ribolla Gialla at home or any other white wine, just drink along with us. Send us your ideas, your thoughts, whatever. Get participation points.
You're just amped.
Let's go.
Woo!
Okay, we are back and we're ready to try our first wine, and this is the Schiopetto Ribolla Gialla. It's from Italy, the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region. The vintage is 2023. It was $22.99 at Mad Wine, also known as Esquin. 12.5% alcohol, 100% Ribolla Gialla. 92 from Jimmy Suckling. And Vivino, I couldn't find a score. But before we talk about the color, let's talk a little bit about the bottle.
The bottle's cool. It's one of those elongated bottles.
Like a Riesling kind of bottle.
Like a Riesling.
Yeah.
And on the label, it has this funny, it looks like a cartoon almost. And it's like a little fire truck, perhaps, with a ladder. And then there's a big oak barrel on top of it, as if it's racing this barrel.
They got to get that.
I don't know,
that wine out.
It's hot, maybe. I don't know.
Hot.
But it's kind of cute.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay.
Okay, what about the color of the wine?
Very light.
Very light.
Yeah, very, very light. You can tell it's going to be crisp. Yeah, not a lot of color to it.
No, it's like it's almost like pear juice.
Yeah,
it
could be sparkling.
Yeah.
It's so light too.
Yep, exactly. Well, let's smell it. Well, I'll tell you right off the bat. My first scent was like tropical fruit, like pineapple. That's
definitely pineapple. I would say a touch of even like peach, though, too. Mm-hmm. It's very, you can almost smell the dryness, though. Like it does seem like there's fruit on it, but it's very fresh.
It is fresh.
Like seawater.
I was going to say seawater. It's kind of got a saline or seashell kind of smell to it.
I like that seashell. Mm-hmm.
I was almost thinking, too, it has just, maybe it's because of the Riesling bottle, but it has just a skosh of like glue on it.
Oh, a little bit. A little bit.
Like airplane glue. Just a little bit, just to make it interesting.
Airplane glue?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Should we try it?
Yeah.
You know, it's crispier than I thought it was going to be.
Very crisp. Citrusy, too. Almost a little bit of pith on it.
Mm-hmm. Bitter at the end. Mm-hmm. Really kind of this tart, like a tart apple, like almost Granny Smith on the front. Mm-hmm. But it does have this like lingering bitterness on the end.
For sure.
But it's reminding me of orange. Like orange.
Like orange pith or like candied orange?
No, more like an orange rind. Like we mentioned this before, like you squeeze an orange rind, you get that little taste of orange on it, but it's bitter. Mm-hmm. I'm getting
kind of pithy, like a little, that bitterness.
Right.
Definitely kind of from the pith.
Yeah. So I'm definitely getting that. I'm getting a little bit of pineapple on the front of it, like a little bit of pineapple. You know, sometimes pineapple juice can be real, like a little tart.
Yes.
So I'm getting a little bit of that. But
it's a little bit alcohol-y, too. I don't know. It's not very high in alcohol.
No, it's only 12 and a half. Yeah. It does almost have
a little bit of like a rubbing alcohol, but not in an offensive way. Like just a touch of that.
I was thinking like more of a brandy or something like that. Maybe, almost has a brandy kind of taste to it.
Maybe it is a little bit just like maybe it's a little bit like liquor.
Yeah.
A little stronger of a flavor.
Exactly. I agree with you. Okay, well, what food might you pair with this Schiopetto Ribolla Gialla?
Well, this is such a refreshing wine. Mm-hmm. I think it can go, I could see us doing something spicy with this for sure. Mm-hmm. And even like a Mexican spice to it.
I kind of like that little cumin.
Yes. Definitely you can do Italian. You could do like an arrabbiata with it. But the tomato sauce could be a little bit, it might be a little off-putting. But definitely, I could do like
Mexican is interesting.
Mexican
a nice burrito
dish with this, with a little bit of that heat, like pepper heat.
I wonder if you'd do a fish taco.
Yes, I would definitely do a fish taco. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Maybe it is.
Fish tacos would be really good with this.
But I'm getting that cumin. I'm thinking more the Mexican where you get a little cumin in there and there's that kind of interesting spice. I'm getting that.
Yeah, for sure. But spicy food, like Italian food isn't particularly spicy.
It will be in Calabria. Those Calabrian chilies.
Well, like you could do a nice charcuterie board with this too. Totally. This would be like antipasti.
Good summer wine.
Would be really nice with this. For
I agree.
Sure. What else?
And seafood.
For sure.
Clearly seafood, white meat, chicken, that kind of stuff. Pork would be really good. Mm-hmm. Sushi, it'd be good with those kinds of foods, I think, for sure.
Yeah. Delicious. It's a pretty nice wine.
It's nice. I like it. It's interesting enough, too, where it's not... Again, sometimes white wines can be a little bit like Italian white wines from the north can be a little thin sometimes. This one's got I like this kind of orange bitter aftertaste on it.
It's not thin. Like almost from the look of it, the smell of it, you think it's just going to be a very dry, crisp wine. But there is a little bit of body on this.
There's a little body on it. I agree.
Different, though.
Different, but better.
Better, but different.
That's right.
Different, but better.
Okay, as a reminder on our rating scale, we're going to rate this wine. We rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't give half points. 7 and above means we would buy it. 4 below means we're going to not buy it. We're going to pour it down the sink. And a 5 or 6 means we'll drink it. We like it, but we're not going to buy it. So what are you giving this wine, Carmelita?
Well, Well, I think, gosh, I feel like I do this a lot, but it's definitely worth trying and buying. And especially if you're going to that region or you're going to be in that region, you want to learn a little bit more about the white wines. I'm going to give it a 7.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 7 as well. That
Pretty
was
solid
mine.
7.
That was mine. I actually think after drinking this, I think this wine would be really interesting as an orange wine. I think you could get a lot of kind of more funkiness on it, maybe a little bit more different flavors on it. I think it would be really cool.
I think it would really set it apart too. Like that's the thing about sometimes these wines, I mean, there is something that's keeping this interesting, but I think something like you could take it to the next level
For
by
sure.
doing something like that. With it.
And actually, that's another thing to think about is you might find this wine if you go to a natural wine store. They may have Ribolla Gialla, so it's something to look for because often they'll carry orange wines. But let's take a break and we're going to try our second wine.
Okay.
Okay, we are back and we're ready to try our second wine. This is the Cantina Puiatti Ribolla Gialla, again, from the Friuli-Venezia Giulia region of Italy. This is a 2021 vintage, so a couple years older. It was $24.97 at wine.com, I know. 12.5% alcohol, 100% Ribolla Gialla, and Wine Enthusiast gave it a 90, and I couldn't find a Vivino score for this one either. But let's talk about the bottle real quick. First of all, screw cap, so we love that. Different bottle. Like it's not the all sauce like Riesling bottle. Looks like a Chardonnay bottle. And then the label is really cool. Yeah. To me, it's very modern.
I mean, you could take it as like they just don't give a beep and want to just like they're just like, not trying super hard, but it's a big, bold, like yellow, blazing yellow.
Kind of block letters. It's cool. I think it's cool looking. It's cool. Modern looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the color of the wine, very similar, but it's light. Like this is super light, almost creamy. I feel like this is almost a creamy looking wine. I don't know how to describe that, but it's like a creamy yellow. Looks like a soda to me.
A soda? Like
a
ginger
Mountain
ale?
Dew or something. A ginger ale would be a good one. Yeah. Okay, well, let's smell it. This one to me came right off the bat peach, like very peach to me.
Peach, apricot even.
Yeah. Stone fruit. We're such freaking nerds. A little bit of bitterness on it as well. It's crispy. It smells crispy to me.
There's
I don't know.
something sweet on it. Maybe it's the peach.
There is. I'm still getting like a little touch of that airplane glue.
Okay. Yeah, I would say, I'm kind of getting a little bit of the saline water.
Yeah, similar to the previous one, although the first thought that I had on the previous one was pineapple. I'm not really getting as much tropical fruit on this one. Maybe a little, but less so.
There's a little pear even on it, though, too.
Yeah. Little orchard fruit.
Yeah, a little
Nerds.
No, you're the one that's saying it. You're the real nerd here.
We all know that.
No.
Everybody knows that. Okay, let's taste it.
Ooh.
Okay, this is different.
It's not bitter like the other one.
It's not bitter, and it's very appley, yellow apple to me.
Like a golden delicious?
And tart. It's almost got, actually, I'm getting a little lemon candy, like lemon head on it.
Oh, I love lemon heads.
Like, at the end, on the end of it, those Italian candies, those long, thin Italian. Yeah. It tastes like a lemon candy.
Yeah, it does. There is a little bit of that sweetness, but crispness, like a lemon head where it's a little tart.
Yes.
At the beginning, and then you get kind of that lasting sweetness. It's good. It is definitely different. And I'm not getting that pith or orange rind.
There's something else on it, almost steely. There's something almost steely on it. Like it came out of stainless steel. Like you can almost taste it.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's a little bit of minerality. I think there is a little like rock or stone or seashell or something on it.
Right. Interesting for sure. What would you eat with this?
This is definitely a seafood wine.
I think shellfish would be really good.
I think it'd be good.
Because it's a little creamier, like shrimp, scallops.
Now that you say that too, again, like this one, it's kind of medium-ish bodied.
Yeah,
like it's got some body to it.
It's not as big as the other one. The other one,
but it's still got more body than a typical, like you would think of like a lot of typical Italian white wines.
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry, but you were saying.
No, but I'm just thinking like nice, like seafood salad. Didn't somebody in your family love a seafood salad?
Aunt Agatha and
Oh
Anne Marie
my
loved a
gosh.
good seafood salad.
I think this would be really good.
And it was crab with the K. It was imitation crab, I think,
Oh,
quite
okay,
often.
maybe not that, but yeah, but this would be really good with crab. Your aunt wouldn't have done that. It was
She did.
okay. Well, anyway, so I think this would be good.
You
with
think she went to the
crab.
trouble of like cracking crab? Not Aunt Agatha. She wouldn't mess around with that
Really?
crab. No, she didn't have time
She
for
wasn't a big seafood person.
that. I mean, she liked her bacala, which is like, I hope we don't see that in Italy.
We don't need to try that.
And actually, I don't like crab. I don't like that kind of.
I know.
Looks like spiders. It freaks me
I
out.
love crab. This would be delicious with crab, shrimp.
Shrimp. I can do shrimp.
Scallops.
For some reason, I can do shrimp. I can't do those like weird shrimp.
And you don't do scallops, which have these beautiful shells. They don't have legs.
They don't?
No, but the shrimp do, baby.
Oh, you shrimp.
And same with the crab.
You shouty.
But you don't like crab. But
I
no,
don't
I
like
think this would be a
crab.
really good seafood salad. Something light fare, like a little lunch.
Fish taco.
Fish tacos would be awesome.
But this would be good with like fish and chips. We had a nice fish and chips and you had fish tacos. I had a fish sandwich last week. This would be great with
It'd
it.
be really good. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's see. What rating are you going to give this wine?
Well, I'm verging on an 8. I like it better than the other one. So it's like if I'm gonna buy, this is where I always struggle. If I'm gonna buy one of these, this type of wine, I'm gonna buy this what is it here? Cantina Puiatti.
Nice
I'm going
pronunciation.
to buy this one above this other guy.
So what are you going to do? Make a call. No halvesies. You gotta
Okay,
face.
I'm going to give it an 8. I might be a little generous.
My God, you know what? I'm giving it 8 too, and I do think maybe my scores are a little extra generous because I'm so excited about
I
going to
think
Italy.
so. Nothing brings you down anymore this week.
No, you're just happy. Except for American Express has brought me down a lot this week, but that's
man,
okay. We'll
that's
get
a
over
whole
it.
Another story for another
it's
day.
first world problems. Anyway, which of these two are you finishing tonight, Carolita?
I think we go, or at least I'm going for the Puiatti.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly would drink either, but I'm kind of liking the Puiatti a little bit more. Okay, let's talk about the taste profiles expected from Ribolla Gialla. Typical aromas and flavors include floral notes, white flower, elderberry, honeysuckle. They're often described as fruity with citrusy notes like lemon zest, lime, or tangerine. It can also have green apple, pear, or a hint of peach. Herbal qualities like thyme, and delicate herbal scents. Minerality is almost present. Oh my gosh, sometimes described as steely.
Oh, wow.
And there can be a touch of bitterness like eating a lemon peel.
Okay.
So we're definitely getting that. Okay, Schiopetto, the winery says, fresh and nutty. Its bouquet is characterized by aromas of field blooming flowers.
Maybe like raw nuts, like almonds.
Maybe, yeah. The palate is also flowery with long and refreshing acidity. And then a website called Superiore DE, which is Germany. The Ribolla Gialla brings a beautiful exotic flavor to the glass with notes of lemon, honey, orange blossom, and melon. We definitely got orange, right? Full-bodied and juicy, clear and pure. The Cantina Puiatti, the winery says brilliant straw yellow color, typical nose of golden apple, gooseberry, aromatic herbs, fresh light palate, appealingly drinkable. And wine enthusiasts said the moment you pour the wine, it's as if you are picking the freshest and ripest apples in the orchard. In between hints of apples, the wine offers freshly cut white flowers, sea breeze, and gravel. The palate continues with pear, wildflower, honey, and a distinct minerality that adds nuance on the finish. I like that it says just a distinct minerality, but they're not distinct about what that minerality is at all.
Right.
Like, what does that mean?
I don't even know.
What do you mean when
you
you
just can imagine the distinctness?
Yes, exactly. It's like minerality means a lot of things. What aspect of it? Anyway, whatever. What is, Carmela, your verdict on Ribolla Gialla?
I would choose to have a glass of this if we were out and about.
I would too.
Yeah, it's a great wine.
Will you look for it in Italy?
I absolutely will. Will you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, this is one of those, to me, this is a really fun wine. It's a little different. And it's always fun to me to find a wine that, you know, maybe a little bit off the beaten path, or you see it on a menu and it's like, I don't know if I know that one. But now to feel a little confident that you can drink it, I think is kind of fun.
Right. And that you're going to like it.
You're going to like it.
Tasting it and trying it, then you know what you would, order if you're out and about.
For sure. And I can see why this would be kind of a sommelier wine. And I also see I think an orange wine would be really cool in this one. I think it would go really well. All right, Carmela, it's time for us to go. But before we do, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. And if you haven't had a chance to do so yet, now is the perfect time, perfetto, to follow or subscribe to our podcast. And also, fantastic tiempo to leave us a nice rating and review on our website or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or other app that you use as an awesome and free way, libero, to support us and help us grow listeners. We'd also love to hear from you about a wine you want us to taste and review. You can leave a message for us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. Join our email newsletter there. And again, if you missed our latest newsletter, email me and I'll send it to you. You can also reach out to us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. We always respond and we'd love to hear from you. But with that, we're going to sign off. And so thank you once again. We'll see you next time. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
Arrivederci.
Ciao.
And the happy ending.